Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson, available wherever podcasts can be found. This is, of course, Matt Chat.
Yeah.
And this is the show where we get our questions from the Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. We have a variety of reward tiers over there. And at the $20 mark, you too can send in your Matt Chat question,
Correct.
be it a video or a text. And we just got these in brand new for 2020 for the $50 Patreon reward tier.
Yes.
New t-shirts.
New shirts.
It's the Friendo Club
Friendo Club shirt.
orange and like teal variant with the Too Good Me brother there at the bottom. $50 on the Patreon one
Exclusive
time.
to that shirt.
Gets you this shirt. We've retired the old one.
Yeah, they're done. Never see them again.
We might sell them on the shop down the line. Whatever ones we still have, just to clear out the inventory.
Yeah, we got to clear out a lot of back inventory.
Yeah, we do.
Deals.
Yeah, man. Let's gear up for maybe a WrestleMania deal.
Yeah, man.
There we go. Anyways, so good stuff. Let's hop right into it. Who's
Yeah.
first?
Raptors first.
Oh,
Yes.
no. Scary
Question.
Raptor.
Greetings, Stephen Austin. Raptor here with a Mad Chat question. My question is this. Are people going to wake up and realize the Wednesday Night War is a sham? Because we don't need a war. Wrestling needs revitalization. And only AEW and NXT can do it. When will the people understand that Wednesday nights is a beachhead to bringing wrestling back to the mainstream?
Thank you, Raptor.
Thank you, Raptor.
Welcome back.
With your question.
Favorite dinosaur.
All right, man. I guess I'll go first
Sure.
here. So, okay, the Wednesday Night War, is it a real thing? I think to the WWE, like we've heard that they brought in, for example, the Charlotte thing. Vince apparently initiated that because they were surprised by the post-New Year numbers, how AEW really started to make some gains versus NXT. So I think probably internally to the WWE, they do see this as a competition of sorts. They want to have the bragging rights. I don't know why. I mean, maybe just to increase their numbers. I don't know. They see wrestling on Wednesday nights. Hey, we're not the ones with that precious 18 to 49 demographic,
everything.
apparently.
To advertisers, it means everything.
So I think internally there probably is. I would think maybe less so for AEW internally. They're probably just trying to do their thing. They got their extension, so they're good to go. To the fans, there does seem to be that element of fans out there that I've seen on Twitter that like to snipe at each other. Oh, it's not AEW, it's not NXT. I think it's a bunch of phooey. But there does seem to be some segment of fans who consider it a competition. That being said, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we can call it a sham. I don't know if we can say there is no competition there. There seems to be some element of it. I don't necessarily take that into account. I watch AEW, I get a kick out of it, and I love me some NXT. So I enjoy the best of both worlds. I think they both bring different things to the equation that I enjoy. There seems to be a real passion there with both shows. If the question is, can they bring wrestling back to the mainstream? I don't know. I think AEW, their presentation, probably, if their presentation, how they treat their fans and how they have already captured some sort of zeitgeist with a population of wrestling fans, I feel like maybe they have a chance at making that grow if they make some moves, if they're able to make some moves for some maybe outside of the box talent, if they're able to snag some high profile WWE talent, if they have their own Mike Tyson Stone Cold moment somehow, some way, I think it's possible they can have their own mini WCW situation where they're competing against WWE's bigger properties in the ratings on a weekly basis. They've proven that they've been able to capture something. Maybe they can grow on that. If either of these two properties had a chance at doing that, I'd think it's AEW, but who knows?
I'll kind of enter my thing in here in reverse. You mentioned capturing something in the wrestling zeitgeist, and I think that's the thing. Entertainment these days is far too fragmented. There's too many options to have a crossover into the mainstream for a pro wrestling show like we saw during, for example, the Attitude Era, like we saw in the Rock and Wrestling days. There's too many, even just in the world of wrestling, there's too much to watch.
What would be a comparable, like, what would qualify it as capturing a mainstream zeitgeist? Like, what else in pop culture?
Cody has to get like a movie series, essentially.
Yeah, okay, all right.
You know, like if we're talking an AEW talent transcending the world of wrestling into becoming a mainstream star.
The WWE, if you take a look at what you're talking about, the Attitude Era, they were on the cover of like Entertainment Weekly,
TV Guide, all that.
They were hosting Saturday Night Live.
You had The Rock, you had Stone Cold in movies.
Yeah.
You know, and John Cena's he was in a couple movies during his wrestling heyday. He's transitioned to Hollywood now. Even his transition to Hollywood, granted the Rock's transition to Hollywood wasn't like he was an immediate top paid star in the world.
Yeah.
That took a lot of time, and it will take time for John Cena to build up his resume, become a larger movie star. But when The Rock was in Scorpion King, I know this because I just watched the Ruthless Aggression episode 1. It took the top spot at the box office.
Yeah.
I don't think any John Cena movies yet has taken the top spot in the box office.
It'll be interesting what happens after Fast 9.
Yeah. But that's him being in an already established franchise. You put that name value of that franchise is going to get it to the top spot in the box office, not so much John Cena.
No, you're right. I just look at what happened to The Rock after his Fast and Furious.
Yeah, it took off to another level, totally.
Yeah.
I think any wrestling, like even WWE now, they're not really a mainstream product. They're mainstream for pro wrestling. The brand is synonymous with wrestling in the same way Kleenex is synonymous with tissue.
Yeah, everybody knows what WWE is. It's just not a lot of people are watching.
Exactly.
It, you know?
If you go to a person on the street and they say, I don't really watch wrestling, well, can you name any wrestlers? They'll probably say John Cena, The Rock, or Hulk Hogan.
You know, but not a lot of people know who like Roman Reigns is.
Exactly. Not a whole lot of people are going to know people on the roster now.
What's funny is that they've missed so many opportunities to get themselves there.
Totally.
Like Braun Strowman, I thought was like the biggest opportunity to have like a mainstream
There's
guy.
countless. We said this numerous times. Like there's countless talents who can be mainstream crossover stars. They just haven't done a good job of promoting their stars to that degree. I just don't know if wrestling right now, because there's so many more options in entertainment, since the entertainment landscape is so fragmented, we're going to see wrestling become mainstream to that degree ever again. I don't really think it's going to be possible. I don't think WWE is going to be able to do it. I don't think NXT is going to do it. I don't think AEW is going to do it. I just don't think any promotion is going to do it. I'm not going to say it's not possible. It's just highly unlikely these days.
Yeah.
Anyways, in terms of the Wednesday Night Wars, is it a sham? No, there's some competition. WWE seemingly wants to best AEW. I'm sure AEW's primary goal isn't to outdo NXT in the ratings, but if they see them every Thursday and see they're on top, they're probably like, hey, that's cool. There's a competition, but doesn't necessarily mean that they're operating with the MO of trying to outdo the other company. Like you might be able to say that NXT might program some of their stuff to get more eyeballs on it, maybe in an effort to get the viewership up so they're not losing to AEW each week. But it's not an outwardly thing like it was in the Monday Night Wars, where it was...
They wanted to put each other out of business.
Exactly.
That was their goal.
That was the goal.
I don't really think WWE wants to put AEW out of business. I think they'll... And this is exactly what I said before.
If they did, it'd be Wednesday Night Raw.
Yeah, I know. They would be throwing all their big guns there. Yeah. They'd make another main roster show.
So, next, got a question from Christopher Rampersad. About Roman Reigns. He's really high on Roman's creative. Let's see what Christopher has to say.
Hello, Stephen Larson. So my question is about Roman Reigns. If Roman Reigns is supposed to be the face of the company, why are they giving him bad storylines, bad creative, bad everything if Roman Reigns is supposed to be the guy of the company, the heir apparent to John Cena? You never see John Cena go to storylines like this, or Hogan, or Rock, or Stone Cold. I'm just very confused, and why are they putting Roman to these bad storylines and not making him the big star he's supposed to be? I'm just confused, and I'm just so sick and tired of they pushing Roman as a big deal, but he's not a big deal. What do you guys think should happen?
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher. First of all, WWE Creative isn't necessarily the best. Hasn't been the best in recent years. It's been better on Raw of late, even though this last week was kind of a middle-of-the-road episode. So to say, why does Roman have bad creative? If you look at the breadth of creative over the last 5 years, there's a handful of storylines that stand out as actually being well done and well executed. Yeah. And those are outliers. By and large, most storylines aren't that great. They are seen through to their natural conclusions. Yeah. There's a lot of left turns, seemingly for the sake of popping something for a particular week. Anyways, Roman being stuck with a lot of bad creative isn't necessarily a Roman problem. It's a WWE problem.
Well, and these days, like if you want to get into specifics, it's a SmackDown. Like SmackDown,
it is. SmackDown has not been good. As for Roman specifically, why he has not had the best creative a lot for long stretches, I think they play it too safe.
Yeah, true.
They play it really safe with him, especially. They don't really want to give him any sort of edge.
There's no layers of character.
There's no layers of character. He's just a good guy.
Yeah.
And because of that, there's not a whole lot of dimension. Like we see in this Baron Corbin thing, it goes back to Roman's feud with Sheamus. They're putting him against the person that they don't want Roman to get booed, so they'll put him in a feud with a high-profile feud with someone that the crowd will boo opposite Roman regardless. Mm-hmm. It was that way with Sheamus. It's that way with Baron now. The problem with that is neither Sheamus nor Corbin are of the star caliber you want to square off against Roman in terms of elevating Roman.
Yeah.
Sheamus, we've seen his ceiling. He's a good worker. He's capable. He's not a consistent main event guy. He's not.
No, he's not.
Baron is more suited for the mid card, maybe flirting with the main event as henchman role.
Yeah.
He's not a main event caliber star.
No.
And so you got Roman in feuds like that for protracted periods of time, and when you want to elevate Roman, you're bringing him down to the level of his opponent.
Yeah.
And it's not doing him any favors because he comes off. It's a little bit better these days, not so much with the Baron stuff because the dog, for a myriad of reasons, it's been crap. It's been a little bit better for Roman since they've allowed him to show his natural personality more.
Yeah.
But still, it hasn't been good. There's been some strong moments for Roman creatively. That feud with AJ, when AJ showed up, it creatively wasn't, it was pretty basic, but allowed an opportunity to showcase what he could do in the ring.
Peak Roman was Roman versus Braun. That was the best.
That's the best creative he ever had.
Yeah. Because he came up against a unstoppable force who was just bent on destruction.
He had to fight from underneath, which he never has to do.
Yeah. It's simple. It's SmackDown. Bruce Pritchard's not a good writer. He's not like creatively the most interesting person on the planet, and he's like probably towards the bottom end of that. I think there's that. I think there's also, I wonder if they've sort of held off on doing anything too extensive with him simply just to see what his health is like. I mean, he's still, I don't know. I haven't heard about what his schedule is like necessarily lately, but I kind of wonder if they're just sort of waiting to see how he's doing in a role that really doesn't, if suddenly something takes a turn for him, be it, hey, I got to go away for a couple months and get some more treatments or something. He's not in anything that he can't just drop and then everything will be like, if he just leaves right now, there are no stories so pressing that he's involved in that they can't just move on. And so that might change coming up here with WrestleMania if they're going to put Roman in the title picture. I mean, he apparently was penciled in to win the Rumble before they decided to go with Drew. And so, I mean, that would have automatically put it. You can think he's probably going to be in the title picture at Mania. That is a big deal. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think that SmackDown's crap right now. They need to get that fixed. If he was on Raw, he'd probably have better creative because the creative, generally speaking, is decent there. I agree with you. I mean, generally speaking, WWE creative isn't all that great anyways. But yeah, they need to let him show off some more dimension to his character. That's always been the case with him. Mm-hmm. And they need to have him fighting from, like you said, as a bit more of an underdog at least.
He's got to overcome some odds.
You
can't walk into every match or every feud with him and know that he's going to come out on top. There has to be some doubt.
That he's just going to be booked to the moon. Yeah.
Yep. Next, got a question from Waymaker.
Hello, Steve and Larson. It's Waymaker here with another match chat question. Inspired by the fact I've just finished watching Fighting with my family, and it made me think, if I was to give you guys £100 million to make a movie about a wrestler's story, who would you pick and why? Because Fighting with My Family is a very entertaining film, but it's never going to win an Oscar. So whose story, because we've heard lots of wrestlers on podcasts and other interviews, so we know a lot of their stories, but who could you turn into an Oscar-winning story? And please, pick any wrestler you like, but don't pick the same one, and cast the actor you would like to play that particular wrestler. Sort of too sweet, because my finger's still broken. And a hearty handshake. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Wayne. Go ahead.
So I got two answers here that I think would make for really compelling stories. Bruno Sammartino, his interview on Legends with JBL. I think he also had a really good interview with Dave Meltzer I've not listened to, but I've heard that's a really good one too. Bruno's story is fascinating. And then getting a glimpse, just like his, how he grew up is fascinating. And then his ascent in pro wrestling is fascinating. It'd be an amazing period of time that, they could recreate. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Beyond that, the Gold Dust Trio, the guys in like the 20s and 30s, Toots Mondt, Billy Sandow, and Ed Lewis, who basically created professional wrestling as we know it, with finishes, false finishes, basically kayfabe, fake stuff, when they basically were like, hey, we can make a mint if we just make this stuff all fictional. I think that would be a fascinating story because I don't know dick about it. And I think, again, in terms of period pieces, I always love stuff that's like in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Boardwalk Empire, big fan of that show.
Yeah. I'm going to say Bobo Brazil, the Jackie Robinson of professional wrestling.
Great idea.
His is a story you don't hear a lot about.
Sure.
Of the early pioneers of pro wrestling. So I think that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. I agree.
Next, got a question from Doc Hensela, not in the OR.
Yeah.
Not in pre-op. It appears to be in his vehicle.
Yeah, or an ambulance of some sort.
Definitely, unless he's driving it.
He's got his own private ambulance
Maybe.
Out of his minivan.
Could be. Let's see what Doc Hensela has to say.
Hey, Stephen Larson. This is your lovable doctor, Doc Hensela, back with my Mad Chat question for the week. So, with the worldwide epidemic of the coronavirus, I want to know what you guys thought the wrestling equivalent was throughout the years. We've had the NWO epidemic, the Degeneration X epidemic, even the Daniel Bryan Yes movement, or the Yes epidemic. So I want to know what y'all's favorite epidemics in wrestling there have been over the years. Thanks.
Thank you, Doc Hensela.
Thank you, Doc Hensela. Maybe he's like a vigilante doctor who's got like his own Batmobile type thing, Docmobile, and he goes around like
Docman.
Docman. He's like curing people because he still has the mask on.
He does. Let's protect his identity too.
Exactly. You go first.
The best wrestling epidemic. Oh, this is spreading like a plague throughout the industry.
Oh, this is a really good answer.
It's the end of kayfabe.
That's good. Yeah,
and I love it.
Yeah.
It's cool that Moxley is wearing an eye patch everywhere he goes. It keeps up the illusion that he actually has an issue with his eye, which he doesn't. Yeah, that's fine. Otherwise, who needs kayfabe? Who needs it? We're not in any illusion what we're watching on TV is real by any stretch of the imagination. So why lie to me?
Yeah, sure.
Don't lie to me.
Yeah.
If
Don't
I'm
insult
watching
my intelligence.
Like I enjoy movies. I know they're not real unless they're documentaries, but even then that's manipulated stuff. Not what's going on the screen, but how it's put in front of you.
Yeah.
I know movies aren't real. They're not lying to me saying this is a documentary. I know it's fake. Doesn't mean I can't get wrapped up in what's going on emotionally.
Even
because
documentaries,
it's well done.
by and large, are kayfabed.
That's what I said. They're manipulated.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely.
So don't operate under the pretense that what you're doing is real. I know it's choreographed fighting with storylines. These people don't some people don't like each other, but you're not really fighting for the reasons you're fighting. Yeah. You're not really fighting. It's choreographed
unless
fighting.
It's blood sport, man. That's still super real.
So I'm more than happy for kayfabe to be a thing of the past. That's one of the things that's always kind of stigmatized the industry, is that them trying to say,
you like the fake stuff?
It's real. And then the people are like, oh, no, it's just fake.
Yeah.
That's their response when you tell them it's real. It's like, oh, you're trying to lie to me. It's the fake stuff.
Yeah.
If you fully embrace the fact that it's not real, maybe people won't call it fake.
Yeah.
So I'm totally happy with kayfabe going bye-bye.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then you get great comedy stuff like Orange Cassidy and Joey Ryan. Love that stuff. I'm going to say the best wrestling epidemic seemed to be an actual epidemic. That bout of the mumps that thank God, prevented us from seeing Sister Abigail Bray Wyatt
versus Pumpkin Balor.
Versus the Pumpkin Balor. And instead we got Too Sweet Brother. We got AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. Battle of Bullet Club leaders.
Yep.
In a pretty decent bout.
Yeah, because they're going to put together a
wish they had gone back to that one. Yep. Maybe they will.
Maybe they will.
Do you hear Finn Balor? He's going to be showing up in the UK now, man. Ooh, all over the place.
See Walter versus Prince Balor.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
So, I'm going to say the actual epidemic of mumps that took place backstage and catering.
Also allowed Kurt Angle to be an honorary member of the Shield that same night.
That's right. Yeah, we got that weird stuff going on. Anyways, next up we got Rich. Let's see what he's all like shaved head now, Rich. He's trying to be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
Stone Cold Steve Nason. Let's see what Rich has to say.
Friendos, Rich the Smash Bro here, and watching Raw last night, seeing that they already just automatically put the Women's Elimination Chamber match together, and they put all three of the Riot Squad in. Basically, no one had to earn their spot, and everyone knows Shane is going to win. So it's like, what's the damn point? I mean, with the story they're building, we already know she's going to Mania to face Becky. But the question is, why did they just make the match? And if for some reason they swerve us and Shayna doesn't win, who else could possibly win the Women's Elimination Chamber? And do you honestly think they're going to do anything with Liv Morgan? She was gone for so long. She's such a badass, and they've basically wasted her the past couple months she's been back. But just let me know. I thought that was so ridiculous, but let me know your thoughts, friendos. Too good, brothers.
Thanks, Rich.
Go
ahead.
So the point of the match is because every year they do Elimination Chamber, Rich. But maybe they should add qualifiers to get in there.
Oh,
but
definitely.
I don't even know if they have a women's division large enough to have qualifiers, which is a problem of its own. So, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them just sort of booking a match out of nowhere. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think Shane is going to have a cool performance. Becky, sort of the wild card, saying, oh, you're going to be at the Chamber? Okay, I'll see you there. So that adds some intrigue to it. So, yeah, I don't know. They do this it's Elimination Chamber. The pay-per-view's coming up. You got to have an actual Elimination Chamber match.
Sometimes two.
And so they did this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, literally, on Raw, do they have 6 additional people to have done qualifiers?
Well, you got to add Kyrie in there.
Okay, sure. Natalia? No, she's in the match.
She's in the match. Lana.
Okay. Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
You could have done that, I guess. But, I mean, where you're just scraping the bottom, you know who's going to win all these matches.
Yeah, I know. I feel like forgetting some names.
I mean, is Ember Moon on Raw?
She's hurt.
But she's hurt. Yeah, she's hurt. I mean, they could have made a bigger deal about it and bring some NXT people in to possibly. Are they on Raw?
I don't know. I don't think. I mean, they've been around forever, so you can just put on whatever brand you want.
They've been on forever. So I don't even know if they have enough people for a qualifying
possibility. Anyways, the point of the Chamber match is establish Shayna for the main roster audience. You put her in that Chamber match. You establish she's a cage fighter. She goes in there. She dominates. So it's not a situation where someone from NXT that people who don't watch NXT might not be familiar with. When she steps to Becky, you're like, who's this?
Yeah.
Now, when she goes in the chamber and dominates like she's in the octagon,
it's a good introduction to her.
People are going to pay attention and notice.
It's a good gimmick match for somebody to debut in. That'd be it's fine.
He also asked, is it possible anybody other than Shayna could win? 2% botch that Asuka wins, but otherwise no.
Yeah.
2% botch for Asuka.
Like, okay, so I'll even go beyond that. I'd say there's like a 10% chance Asuka could win, and that would only be if McMahon watched Shayna's promo this week, which I thought was fine. I thought was great. I thought it was good. She dropped the S word. That was cool. But if for whatever weird bug in McMahon's head, he was like, oh, no, I don't want that Mania match. I really like Asuka. If he all of a sudden had a weird 73-year-old man glitch in his head, and then there's maybe a 10% of that 10% chance of that happening, but I don't really see it's going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. Next, Patrick Sparks has a question about WrestleMania entrances.
Hey, friendos, Pat here. All right, so I was watching a video last night of Drew McIntyre at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, where you got the NYPD to do his bagpipes and whatnot. That got me thinking, Mania's coming up. What big, crazy Mania entrances are we going to see? What would you like to see? Who do you think is going to have the most elaborate? Who's going to be the most fun? What do you guys think? Just speculate. Have fun. Bye.
Thank you, B-Man.
Thank you, B-Man.
I go first. All right, first and foremost, I want them to do... So I just went to Disney on Ice with the kids.
Awesome.
And they had a stretch of stuff that was inspired by the movie Coco, which I haven't seen yet, though I do know the production design is off the charts. And one of the things they had was these giant, 10, 12 feet skeleton puppets that people were skating behind and operating.
Yeah.
So I want 10 to 12-foot puppets of each of the Firefly Funhouse characters. Disney on Ice style. I don't know if you need the full ice rink out there or not, but you do need the stage, huge Firefly Funhouse stage.
Good.
You need the giant puppets up on stage, people doing the puppetry form, and then Bray comes
And
out.
it's really dark and messed up.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be cool. Yeah.
It'd be really funny. Either that or spitting image puppets was almost already there.
Yeah, that's good.
Next, so there's a pirate ship. I don't know what they call it now. It used to be Raymond James Stadium, where the Buccaneers played. There used to be a pirate ship at one end zone. So when the Buccaneers scored, they shoot the cannon off. You got Kyrie Sane there. You got a pirate ship.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be possible with how the stadiums be set up, but maybe they do. Asuka and Kyrie do some sort of swashbuckling entrance
that'd be cool.
where they're on the pirate ship and they get a rope from the mast of the boat and swing over to the ring.
You know what? That's
over the crowd.
Here, I'll build on that one. They're going to be in LA next year.
Yeah.
And they might do some of those like movie things where they like put wrestlers in movies. What if they have Asuka and Kyrie Sane be the pirates from that one movie where he's like, look at me, I'm the captain now.
With Captain Phillips?
Captain Phillips, yeah, exactly. Except they're those pirates.
Okay.
Anyways, so I have Drew McIntyre with a Braveheart-esque battalion of dudes in kilts. They're all like local indie guys who have all jacked and they got kilts on.
This is my idea from like 2 years ago.
What, Randy?
Riding in on a giant snake.
Well, it's still a solid idea. I'm going to use that. How about this? You give some sort of somnambulist entrance for Aleister Black, because right now he does the
yeah.
But like a much more elaborate coffin opening up, and he's got like some like white creepy somnambulist makeup on.
He's just a sleepwalker.
And he's like, yeah, exactly. I was napping, and now I'm up.
It's the whole cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
The cabinet of Dr. Caligari. That's what I was thinking. Exactly. He was a somnambulist. So you got that.
Fancy term for sleepwalker.
Exactly. And then how about this? Sammy Guevara is like some sort of like Cuban guerrilla. Sorry, what did I say? I meant Sami Zayn.
All right.
Some sort of Cuban guerrilla. He's like Che Guevara, and they have like a bunch of like foresty stuff. And then he's like mapping out the assassination of JFK. Because didn't Castro have something to do with that?
You have no idea what you're talking about right now.
You're right. I do not.
You don't.
And then Hulk Hogan comes out, and he foils the plot, saves JFK, played by Angel Garza, because he was a ladies' man too. JFK was
horrible. I got a question next from Handsome Be Wonderful. Take it away, Handsome Be Wonderful.
Yes.
Hey, Stephen Larson. This is Handsome Be Wonderful coming at you again with a Dashcam Matt chat question. And this week, I want to hear you guys have a discussion about geography. Mainly, the places of origin some of these wrestlers hail from. There's a whole lot of guys out there with the power to teleport, but I don't hear anybody coming from parts unknown anymore. I miss the days of The Undertaker being from Death Valley. How about you power rank some of the better places of origins that these superstars have had and the effect that it has had on their gimmick? Too good, brothers.
Thank you, Handsome Be Wonderful. You know what I'd love? So I love these dash cam videos of his.
Yes.
I want more cool New York history.
I know, it's great when we put this this video on. He was like, "Oh man, he's driving down through Manhattan."
Yeah, I know, exactly.
See the Freedom Tower there.
Yeah, I want some New York history, man.
Go through Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, deep dive.
The Bowery.
Yeah,
All right.
there you go. I want to see Daredevil
There you go.
somewhere.
There you go.
Anyways, Origins. So I'm just gonna steal some of your ideas.
No, don't steal
here.
mine. I researched those. Those are good.
Yeah, I know. These are all the same ones that I was. What's Outer Space? Max Moon?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Dudleyville is good.
Truth and Consequences, New Mexico. That's where Cactus Jack was built
okay,
from.
yeah.
Number 1 is State of Euphoria. Max Payne.
Max Payne, yeah, that's right.
That
That's
was
awesome.
so good.
That's really good.
I mean, Parts Unknown is good. Death Valley is good.
Where was Jake Roberts from?
Stone Mountain, Georgia. That's where he's built from.
That's a great sound in town right there. Stone Mountain?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Georgia? Yeah.
Wow, that's cool too.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good one. Parts Unknown. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I already mentioned that.
Yeah.
I like whenever they say Sacramento.
Yeah, it's cool. It doesn't happen
That's
very
a
often.
real place, though.
It is a real
We
place.
live
Well,
there.
Truth and Consequences, New Mexico is a real place.
That's a real place, too.
Outer Space is a real place.
That's actually a real place.
That's a real place.
There's a lot of
state
place.
of euphoria is a state of being.
Yeah, it's not like a real place.
No, it's
though.
not a geographic location. No, but it sounds great.
Yeah, it does. So there you go.
All right,
those are all good.
Fine. Next, Enforcer Stevie Bradley.
Hey, Steven Larson and all the friendos. It's the Enforcer here, and I got a bit of a odd question, and I kind of hope that it's topical enough. Trump, I know, right? Recently did a couple pardons. Rod Blagojevich, Eddie DeBartolo Jr. Also talk of some other people. Anyway, got me thinking. If you two were the president and vice president of wrestling, who would you pardon? All the ill that they've done, gone with a stroke of a pen. I know some big ones, but how about some smaller, goofier ones? Maybe like the Shockmaster or Vince not blowing out his quads. Not have NWO sold out, things like that. What would you get rid of in wrestling or absolve with the stroke of a pen? Too good, me brother. Have a good one.
Thank you, Enforcer.
Thank you, Enforcer.
You need to stay in your lane. Stop talking about politics, Stevie Bradley. I'm joking. I get that on Twitter whenever I talk shit about him. Not Enforcer, about Trump.
Yeah.
So this is sort of an interesting question.
Trump is an idiot. You should talk trash about him.
Yeah, he's garbage. So he's saying if we had the pardoning power, but it's more like manipulating space and time power.
Well, I answered. Well, I'll just go.
Because he's saying with the wave of a pen, you can change history. That's not really what pardoning people is.
No. I said Eric Bischoff because if history remembered him only for forming or creating the NWO, it would look on him pretty favorably.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of other stuff that he did during his tenure at WCW, which sank the NWO and thus sank the company.
Yeah.
Or it also sank the company. He didn't exactly operate there with a firm hand, seemingly. He allowed himself to be locked in a closet by a couple of his wrestlers because he fired their friend.
Is that actually true?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Can you imagine anybody trying to do that to Vince?
No. God, no. Yeah, isn't that funny how, like, he really couldn't exert discipline on anybody.
And, I mean, this part of it is the nature of the contract. And you have so many wrestlers out there with creative control. You have no leverage.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the thing. He has no
leverage. And you know, so many wrestlers had the most favored nation clause in their contract. Someone comes in that makes more than them, and their salary gets bumped up too.
He should have like had some sort of fine system where it's like, yeah, you're guaranteed, but if you violate any of our rules here,
yeah. But then you have to follow that through and not be bullied into deviating from that.
Like if somebody locks you in a closet, you gotta be like, okay, you're suspended, man.
No, you're fired.
Yeah,
you're fired.
Yeah, that too.
You're undermining my authority here to run this operation. You're fired.
Yeah,
he can't do that to he couldn't do that to Hall and Nash. The whole NWO sold out thing, Miss NWO, the giant toilet throne, right into the arena on garbage trucks. That's all terrible. Trying to make the NWO.
Well, that was just one pay-per-view.
I know, but that's how many bad ideas in one pay-per-view. The whole idea, try to make the
concentrated.
NWO a motorcycle gang, but not like a tough motorcycle gang like dads who tuck their shirts in type motorcycle gang.
That was bad.
Not good.
All right.
I can go on and on about the terrible ideas he had. And if with the stroke of a pen, if that would be whoop, way at the very bottom of whatever biography is written about him, and it's pretty much NWO and then a couple other good things he did, I feel like history would look on him far more favorably. It's kind of a mixed bag for Eric Bischoff in my mind.
I kind of think that history looks at Eric Bischoff with a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, I know that he...
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But if with the stroke of the pen, just focus on the good stuff.
Yeah, okay. So you would pardon all his bad ideas?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because there's a lot of bad ideas, and yeah, it eventually probably led to the end of WCW.
Yeah. I'll say this. I'll say if I could pardon anything, it would be Braun's 2019. Maybe even his 2018, depending on how far back it went. Because, like, he had a really bad... Because we're just talking about, like, what would you change, basically. I would change Braun's entire creative for the last, like, 2 years.
Yeah.
Because he was at the highest of highs. That dude was this close to becoming, like, a super legitimate... like a successor to Braun Strowman.
Braun would be a successor to Braun?
To Brock Lesnar. And it was a Rawgate situation.
It definitely was.
And Vince Vince could not figure out how to properly weave Roman into Braun, into Brock, all those three cool storylines. Instead, he just had a cool storyline with Braun and Roman, and then a really bad storyline with Brock and Roman. And he couldn't figure out how to take full advantage of all three of these monsters so that everybody was elevated. And then you might have had some of that mainstream attention that we were talking about earlier, because Braun Strowman has everything it takes. But for some reason, they couldn't figure it out. And then they just turned Braun Strowman into celebrity guy.
Yeah.
So with the stroke of a pen, I'd erase his 2017 and 2018 and 2019.
So you'd be pardoning. No, it doesn't work.
I don't really. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure. Like, this pen that Stevie Bradley's talking about is so all powerful.
It's a magic pen. Yeah.
It's a magic pen.
Yeah.
Like, originally, I thought he was going to say, "Hey, who's committed crimes in the WWE? That, like, hey, what wrestlers' court infractions would you pardon?" For me, it'd be CM Punk not dressing the part of a champion. He got sent to wrestlers' court for that, and then somehow they ended up taking the title off him, like in a pre-show segment or something.
Yeah, he got beat up, and then he got replaced in Elimination Chamber. Yeah.
That I would pardon him so that he can go on and have that match.
Top that answer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Because, like, what the heck? How about this? I would pardon Shane Douglas for sitting out that match when he had a bad back. He's got a bad back.
Nah, man. If a doctor says you're fit to wrestle, you got to get in there and wrestle. That's
oh, wow.
That's your livelihood,
no
man.
pardon for the franchise?
That's your livelihood, man.
What other wrestler court things have there been? Did Randy ever go to wrestler's court for shitting in a bag?
I don't know.
Probably should have. That's unhygienic.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I'm trying to think anything involving the Sin Cara soda can thing.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't lose his job, though.
No, he didn't.
I don't think he got punished.
Would you pardon any of Enzo's locker room infractions? Like, wouldn't he bring, like, rappers or something? He would bring, like, celebrities into the locker room, or his friends in the locker room?
Yeah, probably.
Like, those are his friends. Pardoned.
No, I mean, that's not their place, though. It's not where their locker room is for the wrestlers, not for the wrestlers.
Well, the wrestlers apparently didn't like Enzo, so pardoned.
Well, I mean, if was anybody else bringing their friends in the locker room?
If they did,
probably
pardoned.
Not. Probably not. That's the wrestler space. Prepare for their work.
We have a text question here from.
We have two, in fact.
From the first one's from Luisa Reza. With WWE starting to announce the class of the Hall of Fame, my question is: should there be a fans' choice / nominee where one slot is selected by the fans? I say that would be a disaster, because some jokester would be like, "Hey, time to get Chris Benoit in there." That'd happen immediately. Immediately. Don't trust the fans with anything, people.
Vince would never allow any measure of control out of his hands as far as who goes into his Hall of Fame.
Nope.
Never.
Next.
Because if it was, it would be if they did like a phone-in thing or a voting online, it would end up being the most kayfabe thing there is because that's what they do anyways.
Yeah, they'd fake.
Remember what? Was it Taboo Tuesday?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the one where you could vote online.
Remember how they kayfabe the ruthless aggression in the series that's happening right now in 2020?
They just did that.
Oh, my God.
They kayfabe the hell out of it.
El Hombre Jirafa Julian Ernesto Abril says, I do not have time to record a video this week. Again, teaching you guys how to pronounce my name. Wait, did you do that before?
No, I think he's saying, again, I don't have time to.
Power rank your top 5 wrestlers never to win a world title.
Go ahead.
Scott Hall, Roddy, actually Piper's number 1. Scott Hall's number 2. Owen Hart's number 3. I like your answers, Mr. Perfect and Jake Roberts.
Number 1 for me is Minoru Suzuki. As far as he's won the IWGP Intercontinental title, never the world title in New Japan. He might have won top belts elsewhere. Pretty sure he was Rev Pro champ. But in terms of major world titles, as far as I know, he has not won any outside of King of Pancrase.
All
right. Scott Hall, 100%. Yeah, one of my favorite wrestlers ever to never win a world title.
It's in WCW, the fact that he never won the world title, man. Like Jeff Jarrett had it for how long, and Scott Hall never won it once? Mm-hmm. That's horrible. Mm-hmm. I was going to say Rick Rude on my list, but he actually won the WCW Internet. Like that was their big title at the time.
Yeah.
So I think they did actually try to run with him as world champion for a bit.
Yeah. Mr. Perfect, Jake Roberts.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. The only two that I really, really think should have been world champion, Scott Hall, Roddy Piper. I really kind of think those are the only two names that I really firmly feel. I think Lex Luger should have beat Yokozuna for the title too.
Yeah.
I think that should have happened.
It probably should have happened.
Yeah. But beyond that, I'm not really sure there are that many people that really had a solid claim. Like Jake Roberts could have been an amazing top heel title holder guy. You know, I think that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for Matt Chat. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. $20. You get your question here on the show. Thanks for watching. Until next time, talk to you later.
Goodbye.